Hey guys, if you were to ask a whole bunch of leaders whether they demand that their team members do things or whether they ask them, I would bet money that a lot of them would say they ask their team members. But if you asked team members whether they're asked or demanded to do things, I bet you'd get a bit of a different answer. The distinction between asking and demanding can be subtle because even if we word it as an ask, if people are feeling pressure, are either pressured explicitly or are feeling internal pressure to have to do what someone's asking them to do, it's really more of a demand than an ask. So I wanted to give you 5 signs of when somebody is demanding and not asking so we can start to look at the difference between the two. And when people don't feel like they have a sense of agency over what they are doing, when they feel they're constantly told what they have to do, I promise you they are going to be more disengaged in their work than if they're truly being asked and they're allowed to participate in the decisions together. So the first sign that you're demanding instead of asking is that people are resistant when they're asked to do things. If you're finding a lot of resistance, maybe look at the wording of how things are being asked. The second sign is that there's consequences tied to saying no. So this might be very big, explicit consequences, like if you say no to this, you'll lose your job or you don't have a chance to be promoted. It can also be sort of internal, not expectations, but preconceived notions of what consequences might be that may not actually truly be what the consequences might be. But some people may be afraid to say no for fear of consequences that they think may happen. So it's really, really careful to be very clear that there aren't consequences tied to a person's deciding to say no to something because it becomes a demand and not an ask. And when it's a demand, people become resistant and they don't want to do it. So leaving the person the space to say no is going to actually increase the chance that they're going to say yes and that they want to work with you to help you do what you're trying to get done. Sign number 3 is that there's a climate of fear within the organization. So often when expectations are being set as demands, it puts people in a reactive mode and they are just reacting to whatever is going on and they're scared. They're scared to lose their job. They're scared to say no for fear of what's going to happen. Number 4 is that people just don't dare say no. So if you have people within your organization who are always saying yes to every single request, no matter what, as lovely as that may feel right now, I always want to look at that and see what's going on behind the scenes. And is that person truly satisfied? Or are they standing in the hallways complaining about you behind their back and complaining to their family because they aren't being asked and things are always being demanded of them? And then point number 5 is that when somebody says no, the other person keeps insisting on all the reasons why they have to say yes. So I've written a post previously on boundary pushers, and these are these people here. So it's okay to have discussion and debate around how to meet both people's needs. Of course, that's super important. Where it gets dangerous is where the person who says no is not let to stand in that no. So they're hounded with all the reasons why they need to do what the other person needs them to do until they basically cave. So that is a sign that people are being demanded to do things and not asked. Now, these are really subtle differences, but if we can try to shift more towards asking people, so this is what it looks like. Instead of saying, hey, I need this done for 5 o'clock, instead, we could just word that by saying, hey, it's really important that I have this for 5 o'clock. Is that feasible for you? What do we need to do to make that work? So there's still an expectation that that work needs to be done at 5, but there's also an opening to trying to understand what other tasks is the person dealing with right now. How can we problem solve those barriers so that this task can actually be finished at 5? So it's very subtle, but I promise you if you work on shifting from demands to asking, even if your demands are worded as asking. But if you open that door to really let the other person share their perspective, they're going to be on board a lot more for doing what it is you wanted to do in the first place. So love to hear your opinion on this. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And to keep watching my videos, you can follow me on YouTube, Collaborative Solutions, Lindsay Lapaquette. Thank you guys. Bye.